Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast, the show for ambitious women ready to get off the hot mess express. I know you've got a lot going on. You work so hard, you're raising an incredible family, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a certified master life coach, attorney, wife, and mom. And years ago, I was right where you are. I was running a busy law practice while raising a family, and I was on the fast track to burnout. I thought I just needed to be more organized or have better routines, but it was learning how to heal and regulate my nervous system that expanded my capacity to gracefully hold more of this big, beautiful life. You too are worthy of an extraordinary life in and beyond motherhood. Learning to be a calm, anchoring presence in your home and at work is going to be your superpower. If you're here to do the inner work that brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos, I'm here to join you on that journey. Each time you press play, your growth continues. So let's get at it. You are listening to the Calm Mom Podcast. Welcome if it's your first time. If you've been around before, welcome back. Michelle here. Today we're going to talk about wellness, healing. We're going to talk about the 7 A's of healing, which I think is a really cool way to kind of, just remember the things that are important on this healing journey. I think sometimes we can get overwhelmed by having to do all the things. And then we just kind of get stuck or discouraged, or we don't take any action at all. But I love these 7 principles, and they all start with A. And I think it makes it easier to remember. If you are able, you can grab a pen, you can write them down, you can save this episode and come back and listen. You can grab the transcript. I think this will be really helpful for you. Before we jump in, if you have not yet followed the Calm Mom Podcast, would you do so today? You can just go to the show's homepage in the app, wherever you listen to this podcast, and make sure that you hit the follow button. It says follow and has a little plus sign after it. And that is the best way that you can make sure that you're not missing out on any new episodes. And then, as always, if you haven't yet left the show a 5-star rating or a short review, if you could do so today, I would be forever grateful to you. It honestly means so much to me, but more than that, it's really the best way that we can make sure that other women just like you, also raising kids, also juggling all of the things, also seeking to integrate their work and their life and all of the things, can have access, yes, to this information, but more so to this community, because there's so much power when we come together and encourage each other in this healing journey. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Here on the podcast, on the Calm Mom, in my circles and spheres and containers, we are no strangers to the effects of stress, the effects of trauma on our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health. And one of my favorite writers, authors, thinkers, practitioners in this space is Dr. Gabor Maté. He's written so many books that I love and recommend. And one of his books is called When the Body Says No. And it's all about the cost of hidden stress. And he really explores the mind-body connection, which you guys know I'm really passionate about teaching about. And he talks about its relationship with stress in our family relationships, how stress can be the genesis for so many of our physical and mental symptoms and diseases. And in chapter 19 of his book, he outlines these 7 key elements that help us heal, help us break free from stress, help us heal our mind-body connection, help us heal from emotional wounds, like all the stuff we've been through. So if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. There's also an Audible version. It's called When the Body Says No. And in his book, Dr. Maté has 7 key principles, and those are what we're going to go through today. So I did not create these, even though we talk about them a lot on this show. These are his 7 A's of healing, and I want to bring them to you today. These are principles that are so important for you if you are looking, 1, yes, to heal deeply, but 2, to live more authentically. And I think that's something that all of us are seeking. All right. So the first A of healing is acceptance. Acceptance is all about embracing who we are without judgment, without labels, without self-criticism, right? It's letting go of all of these external validation, like all the external validation that we seek, right? They need to be perfect. They need to be recognized. Everything that we tie our worth to, right? Our productivity or achievements, or, it's playing that outside in game. I always talk about all of us at any given moment are playing one of two games. We're either playing an inside out game or an outside in game, right? So we're either looking outside of ourselves for everything that we're seeking, love, joy, peace, whatever it is, right? Or we're playing an inside out game and we look internally to find those things, to find our value, to find our worth, to find love and joy and peace, all of these different things that are so important. And that's acceptance, right? When we accept ourselves, we really can kind of drop that. I don't know if it's a burden, but it's just like heavy. It's heavy to carry self-criticism. It's heavy to be like self-abandoning, right? A people pleaser. It's heavy to carry all these things. And when we can let it go and really accept ourselves as we are, which is ultimately accepting reality, right? It allows us to be kinder to ourselves. It allows us to be more compassionate to ourselves. It allows us to foster a healthy relationship with our own being. So how can we start to practice this? I think a great way is to just start to engage in like some self-compassion exercises. Like, do you have a gratitude practice? Can you give yourself affirmations? Can you receive compliments, right? How does that work for you? Can you journal like positive things about yourself every day? Could you write 5 things you're proud of yourself for, 5 things you really love about yourself that have nothing to do with anyone else, right? Not that you're a good mom or a good employee or a good businesswoman or anything like that, but like things that you love about yourself that have nothing to do with anyone else, and just kind of observing your thoughts without judgment. So that's A number 1, acceptance. The second A of healing is awareness. And you guys have heard me say it a billion times, and I'll keep saying it. Awareness precedes choice. We cannot intervene in a world we cannot see. Awareness is always one of the first steps to anything we want to change, right? Within ourselves, around us. We first have to be aware of it. And the other part of this too, in the somatics work that we do, is we have to become more aware of our body, right? The function of our body, the sensations in our body, even the basic things like hunger cues, having to go to the bathroom, attuning to our body and paying attention to those internal messages that they send us. This goes so far in regulating our nervous system, you guys. So just starting to recognize like daily physical sensations. What do emotions feel like in your body, right? Sometimes when I'm coaching people one-on-one, I'm like, all right, let's do a body scan. And we start at the top and we go all the way down. And they're like, I'm feeling like anxiety. Okay, good. We're getting somewhere. But anxiety, like where are you actually feeling that? What's the sensation in your body? Is it a tingling in your hands? Is it a jittery feeling in your legs? Is it, a pit in your stomach? Those are the internal sensations we want to pay attention to. And why does it matter? Well, our bodies are constantly communicating with us. And so often we ignore the communications, right? We suppress the signals. So really paying attention and developing awareness around what's going on in our body helps us to listen to the message instead of silencing the messenger. So for example, if you have a headache, right, you could silence the messenger and take a couple ibuprofen, or you could start to listen to the message and be like, what is this headache trying to signal to me? Do I need to eat something, right? Do I need to drink some water? Do I need to rest my eyes and stop staring at the screen? Is there something really, stressful that I've been avoiding that I need to face? Like, do I need to, what is it, right? Do I need to move my body? Paying attention to what the message might be is so soothing. So how can you do this? Body scans are so great. You guys have probably heard me talk about it, but now I have a morning practice where before I even get out of bed in the morning, like the minute I come to consciousness, before I open my eyes, before I do anything, I just lay there and I take a beat and I just start with gratitude. And it's not always the same things, but a lot of times it's just grateful for another day, right? Grateful that my whole family is under this roof healthy. I'm grateful that I get to do work today that fulfills me, right? That I'm so passionate about that I can't wait to start working. I'm so grateful there's a roof over my head and that I have a fridge full of food, like basic stuff, you guys, that I do not want to take for granted. And then I do a body scan and I just lay there in my bed and I start at the top of my head and I slowly work my awareness down my body and just noticing, right? How does my head feel today? How do my eyebrows feel today? How about all those muscles around my eyes? How about my jaw? Was I clenching my jaw while I slept? Or does it feel kind of loose and open today? And I just work all the way down. And that is a beautiful practice that will bring so much healing to your nervous system. And you can do that any time of the day, right? You could do it while you have lunch. You could do it while you're in the pickup line at school. Just starting to notice your body, the posture of your body, the sensations of your body, the way that, are you wearing shoes or not wearing shoes? Like it sounds so silly, but these little things that we usually don't notice because we're too busy doing 700 other things. When we can slow down and attune to the sensations of our body, notice our somatic cues, it does something in our brain. It sends information to our brain that is accurate, and our brain doesn't have to spend as much time searching and scanning, gathering information to keep us safe. And it actually helps bring regulation and peace to our system. Number 3, the third A of healing, and this might be surprising to a lot of you. The third A is anger. And you guys know I love talking about anger because as women especially, holy moly, do we not know what to do with anger, right? Most of us fall into one of two extremes. We're either really vocal with our anger, really expressive with our anger to the point where sometimes we're like, oh man, that got the best of me, right? We're snapping and yelling and it just comes out, right? Without much control. Or we're on the other end of the spectrum and you're sitting here and you're like, oh, who, me? Angry? Not me, right? I'm chill. That's how I thought I was for 30 years. Like I'm super chill. I never get angry. I've never yelled at anyone. I rarely even feel angry, express anger. Like that would be wild and crazy. And that would be an immense lack of self-control. And I was wrong about all of that because my friends, I am here to tell you, I'm going to stand on my soapbox because it's just so true. Anger is a natural and valid emotion. It's actually a really good emotion. Like righteous anger is such a strong signal to us that something is unfair or unjust or wrong. And we've got to do something about it. All anger. That's all it is. So if you're feeling really angry about something, if you can get curious about it, it's pointing to something that feels like it's not fair or it's not right. And that is such good information, right? Some of the greatest changes in history, in society, in women's rights and equal rights and all of these different things is because someone got angry about something that was unjust. So anger is natural. Anger is a valid emotion that we need to acknowledge, and we need to know how to feel and express it safely. And it's so important to do that, to experience and process it rather than suppress it. Because here's the truth. And Dr. Maté, he's a medical doctor, has done so much research on this in his practice. He wrote a whole book about it called The Myth of Normal. I cannot recommend it enough. Repressed anger can lead to physical and emotional health issues. If we allow ourselves to feel and express anger in a healthy way, we can then release all of that pent up energy that comes with big emotions like anger. There's a lot of energetic charge there, right? And we really get a lot of insight into things like our boundaries and things like our needs and which needs are being met and which needs are not being met, which may make us angry. So if you're thinking to yourself, that sounds great, but how the heck do I actually feel and express anger in a safe, healthy way? Well, I'm so glad you asked because we actually have a whole week inside of Restore that we talk about emotional regulation, emotional hygiene. And I teach you guys safe outlets for your anger. I teach you guys not just like mental practices, like write it in a journal or talk to a friend, but like ways to engage your body in a somatic release of anger in a healthy way, right? So we go through all of that in such detail. I teach you guys how to have an adult temper tantrum, which sounds so silly, but it's so stinking powerful. Okay, number 3. Number 4, the fourth A to healing is autonomy. Autonomy is all about setting boundaries. Autonomy is about being true to ourselves. It means being authentic in our expression. It means recognizing and then expressing our needs. We all have needs, normal human thing. Doesn't make us needy or weak or a lot or whatever we've been told. Expressing our desires, our dreams, expressing our limits, right? All of that authentically. And guys, having autonomy and healthy boundaries, it protects so much, right? It's not even so much what it keeps out, but it's what it protects and keeps in. It protects our well-being. It protects our energy. It protects our joy. It protects our, like, all the good things. And it helps us to maintain this sense of self. So we're not overcommitting, overextending, right? People pleasing, like booked doing all of this crap that none of us really want to be doing, compromising our values to please others, right? Compromising our family time, whatever it is. So practice saying no. I saw something the other day and I think I'm going to start this. It was like, if you struggle with people pleasing, you should start a list like on your phone or in your planner or something. And in that list, you're going to write down every time you say no. And it's like a game for yourself. You're going to try to like add to that list and make it as long as you can. When you decline invitations, when you say no to, managing a new project or leading something new that you don't have the bandwidth for, you say no when someone asks a favor of you or someone asks, whatever it is, just starting to get comfortable saying no and then document it and write it down so you can go back and look at it and be like, one, whoa, I'm growing and being able to say no, right? This is healthy. And then second, proving to yourself that the whole world's not going to crash and the wheels aren't going to fall off if you decline and if you say no, right? So I love that. And when we have those boundaries, when we can say no, we make sure that we're protecting ourselves, right? Protecting our attention, our bandwidth, our time, our energy, and then really communicating those needs clearly, prioritizing the things that really respect, the people that really respect our autonomy and our priorities. Number 5 is attachment. Attachment means those close relationships, right? Those meaningful relationships where we can rely on other people. They're dependable. We can be honest with them. We can be vulnerable with them, right? We have relationships where we're building trust back and forth and there's true intimacy there, right? We really know each other. We've been through things together and it's so, so, so important. Attachment is so important in healing, you guys. Our social nervous system, social connection, co-regulating is so powerful. And these types of strong, supportive relationships, it could be friendships, it could be your family, it could be your partner. They provide us with emotional security and they help us feel connected, right? Like we're part of a bigger story, right? We're part of like something bigger. And being able to share vulnerably, right, with people that we trust helps to foster that kind of deep connection and that mutual support. So just spending quality time, prioritizing quality time with your people. I know a lot of times when we transition into motherhood, all of a sudden we just like don't hang out with our friends anymore and we don't prioritize that. And it's like that ever like thing that just gets pushed down the road. We're like, man, we got to get together sometime. And like, we're like, yeah, send me some dates. And then it just like never happens. Start to prioritize that, right? Weekly or bi-weekly or monthly date nights with your partner, like just creating space to spend quality time with the people that you love, to be open with them, to be honest with them, and to actively give them that same gift in return. It's so beautiful. All right, number 6. Number 6 is assertion. Assertion is the ability to express ourselves authentically and also to stand up for our needs, which is so beautiful, especially as moms doing all the things, our rights and our needs. So it's about finding a confidence. It's about being clear in our communication. It empowers us to advocate for ourselves, right? Without being aggressive. It helps us communicate the things that we're thinking and the things that we're feeling in an effective, loving, healthy way that doesn't put someone else on the defensive. It fosters respect, understanding in all our interactions. So I think a great one here on how to start practicing this is to learn about nonviolent communication. I learned about this a few years ago now, maybe 5 years ago. It was created, it's like a communication framework, and it was created by, I think his name is Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, I believe. And it's this great framework. I think it's a 4-step framework, but it's so beautiful. And you can use it with your kids. You can use it with your partner. You can use it in your workspace. And it's a way to communicate our needs to each other in a way that doesn't put the other person on the defensive. Like, how often have you realized that you have a need or something that's not being met by your partner, right? I have a need for partnership in the house stuff and the kids or whatever. And the minute you bring that up, all of a sudden your husband gets on the defensive, right? Or your partner's like getting all defensive, and that's frustrating, and it probably won't go very far. So using nonviolent communication, that framework, can be so powerful in learning how to communicate with each other. I have a whole episode on nonviolent communication. I even created a little workbook on how to go through it. It's really awesome. I spent a lot of time on it a long time ago. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to find which episode that was, and I'll link it for you guys in the show notes so you can go listen to it if you're curious and if you think it'd be helpful. And then the last one, the 7th A of healing, is affirmation. And affirmation is not like just saying affirmations in the mirror to yourself and saying nice things to yourself. Affirmation involves connecting with our creativity, our sense of something greater than ourselves. Affirmation is about really connecting to something that feels like our purpose, something that gives us meaning in our life. It could be creative activities. It could be community service, right? Like serving together, serving my city together with my family. There's really nothing like it. Like, it lights me up in ways that nothing else really does. Like getting out there and getting my hands dirty with my kids and with Jeff, and like making something more beautiful, or feeding people who, are living without homes, and need food, like putting a hot meal in their hands and praying over them. Like, there is nothing like that. When you drive home after that experience as a family, and we do it monthly with our church, you can do it however it works for you. But I'm just telling you, the way that it just lights you up as a human being, because we were created to do these things for each other. There's nothing like it. You can't recreate that in any other way. So finding a way for you to engage like that and serve at a higher level, right? It does something to a sense of fulfillment and well-being. It makes you feel alive. It makes you feel purpose-filled. It makes you feel vibrant. Things like the arts, right? Writing, music, any activities where you feel really connected with your passions, with your values. Maybe it's spirituality in some other sense. Maybe it's, like I was saying, community involvement. Maybe it's a personal growth, right? Sometimes I've felt really lit up in learning about just humanity, what makes me tick, what makes other people tick. And I think that can be a beautiful affirmation. So there you have it. Those are the 7 A's of healing. And I just encourage you guys to embrace these. I think they're a great guide as you move toward a more balanced and a more fulfilling life. Healing's a journey, my friends. It's not a destination. We're not after it, right? Like, we're in it. So I just encourage you, as always, like patience, self-compassion as you navigate this path. I know you're doing better than you think you are. Each step forward is progress. And ultimately, these 7 A's of healing are just a beautiful, powerful act of self-love. All right, my friends, I so enjoyed spending this time with you, believing you got something out of this episode. I love you so much, and I'll see you soon.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would be so awesome if you could take a moment to subscribe and rate the podcast. And if you have just a few more seconds to leave a quick review, they really help to get this podcast out to other moms like you. I read every last review, and trust me, when it's late at night or early in the morning before my kids get up and I'm working on bringing you all of this content, your reviews are what keep me going. Leaving a review is truly the best way you can thank me. And of course, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Head over to the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at michellegrosser.com, where you'll find free resources and more ways to connect with me. If you love the show, share it with a friend. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.